Morning, guys. How's everyone doing? Okay, so we're coming up to the end of the year, and everybody in the whole world, it seems, making their New Year's resolutions. And from my perspective, it seems like every personal trainer that I ever had contact with is on Facebook and showing you how to make your New Year's resolutions and make all your dreams come true. And to be honest, it's not my favorite time of year because of that. So there are a lot of stats surrounding New Year's resolutions and how long they last, not least of which is, I think, it's an 80% failure rate. And January 12th is the fateful day when most people cave in and their New Year's resolutions are, thrown by the wayside. So what can we do to change that? Well, firstly, I suppose we have to have a think about what we want to change, why we want to change it, and what's important to us. And so there are a few questions that you can ask yourself to figure out what you want to set as a goal for yourself. And these don't have to be tied to New Year's resolutions, but sometimes it helps to make resolutions when your motivation is high and inject them with enough emotion, pain, whatever, that will see you through and carry you through the times when motivation wanes. And it most certainly will do. So whatever shape your motivation is in at the moment, you can guarantee that it will not last and it will not be the same, throughout the course of the year. There are going to be ups and downs with regard to that. No doubt about that. Okay, so a couple of questions that you can ask yourself with regard to your goals. And the first one will be, what's good about changing? Pretty straightforward. What's bad about changing? And then you can turn things on its head and what is good about staying the way you are and what's bad about staying the way you are. So identifying a few reasons to make some changes would be the first step, and setting some goals, obviously, that are not vague, but they're specific. So they're time orientated, they're specific to a particular habit or a particular thing that you're going to do. And not just saying I'm going to get in shape or I'm going to get fit, but you're going to do X by X date. That is more likely to work and is more specific to to a goal driven outcome on a specific time, date, and place. Okay, so a couple of unique ways to get yourself motivated. Some of the things I've read about. One was quite an interesting book. It's out of print now, so I'm trying to get my hands on it. It's called The Blackmail Diet. And allegedly, some PhD professor had leveraged himself. Basically, what he did was he gave $5,000. It was 1984, and he gave $5,000 to an attorney, on the basis that over the course of a year he would lose £7,000. He would lose 70 pounds in weight, and if he did not lose 70 pounds in weight, the attorney was instructed to donate that £5,000 to the American branch of the Nazi Party. So pretty extreme example, but what he did was he leveraged himself against an outcome. So he wanted to lose 70 pounds, and if he didn't do that, there was going to be a severe forfeit. So you could obviously figure out how you could do something similar to yourself. You could make a bet with your partner, make a bet with your friends, do something like that. Hook up a little bit of interest, hook up a little bit of motivation. Obviously, that's external motivation, and it's not always going to work for everybody. And you're still going to have times where you really don't feel like doing anything. So if it works for you, give it a try. If it doesn't, move on, try something else. Okay, and I was talking about motivation, and that it most certainly goes through an ebb and flow and wanes and eventually will disappear altogether. And you're left with willpower, and the willpower to get out of bed, go do the thing that you said you're going to do. However, that's a finite resource, and that too has limited capacity. So you got to basically choose your battles. And if you're looking on the basis of motivation waning and willpower not being around for long periods of time, you're going to stack the odds in your favor. And then what I mean by that is, if you know that willpower isn't going to last forever, there are certain things that you can do to, help things along, give it a nudge. So, if it was, if gyms were actually open, choosing the best gym, for instance, isn't necessarily the best idea, but choosing the one that's closest to you, that is at a price that you can afford, that is going to be the one that you're likely to go to, is better than the super duper one that's a little bit too far away, that you're going to have excuses that will essentially end up that you don't make it to the gym because it's too far away, or it's too expensive, or you're going to bin the gym membership. Anyway, I'm talking about stuff, gyms, and they're closed at the moment. So at the moment, you can train at home, and the ways to sort of harness your willpower for that is minimum period of time that you have to spend. So 20 minutes or half an hour a day, that pretty much anybody can afford out of their working day. If you can do that, make it minimal equipment, make it easy to do, give yourself a reward afterwards. So what you're trying to do is just move all of the obstacles out of the way, so that willpower isn't part and parcel, isn't the only thing that you have to rely on to stoke up the motivation. All right, what else was I going to say? Oh yeah, so there's sometimes when, believe it or not, I just can't bear the thought of going to the gym or doing any fitness activity or getting off my ass and doing anything at all for that matter. And some of the things that I've found through sort of by accident really, is that working in groups have made an absolute amazing difference to what I would normally sort of discount or give up on. And I can give you a couple of examples, and some are online, some are were in person when lockdown wasn't a thing. But so getting after fitness, for me, running or cardio is not my favorite thing, and I have to force myself to do that. However, it's been much easier in groups, or when I have the element of competition alongside other people, to get my interest level up enough to spur me on to do it. And so when I've been working in CrossFit, for example, working in groups and working on in workouts that are really cardio based or really difficult, there's no way that I would do those on my own. But because of the element of other people doing them, I've been able to sort of get to that peak state or that peak level where I can actually compete and perform. And this isn't something that I would be able to do on my own. So, whatever your version of that is, whether that is an outdoor fitness camp, a boot camp, whether it's training with a partner or a friend, sorry, itchy nose, that can make a huge difference. And the reason for that is, not just the competition element, but you also have the showing up element. And we all know that showing up is 80% or 50% was whenever Woody Allen said it back in the 80s. And so showing up consistently makes a big difference. And having a reason to show up, your partner, your friend, or your group that you're involved with expect you to turn up. So that's the first thing. Then you've got the element of competition, if that floats your boat. You've also got the elements of support, if you need support and guidance, and seeing other people who are in a similar boat to you to be able to, help motivate you and carry you. Okay, so there's a couple of different things that I've spoken about today. And what you can be sure of is that motivation doesn't last. You're going to be left in a position where you're trying to rely on your willpower, and that's a finite commodity, and you may need that for other things, depending on the crazy world that we now inhabit over 2021, whether that's going to change or not. So some of the ways that you can harness, leverage things in your favor to help you out of waning motivation is, one, pick something that you really want to change. And you can do that by asking yourself the right questions. Why do you want to change? What's good about changing? What's bad about changing? What's good about staying the way you are? What's bad about staying the way you are? And when you get the answers to those questions, maybe you'll decide on something you actually really want to change and you're really passionate about, because you'll need some significant reason to start off with. That's for sure. Willpower doesn't work. stack the odds in your favor. If there's a load of chocolate and booze in your cupboards at home and you're hoping to give those a miss, then that would be a very bad start to your plan, because sooner or later you're going to eat the food or you're going to drink the booze. Okay, power of groups. Getting involved in a group setting for the experiences of commitment to showing up consistently, the element of competition, the element of support. They can get you to where you can't go. Some people say if you want to, getting somewhere with a group, I can't remember that statement I was going to say, but doing things with a group can really make the difference, really be a make or break thing, because when your motivation wanes and your willpower is lacking, having somebody that depends on you to show up can make the difference between doing something and not doing something. And it's consistency over the course of time that really makes a difference. Okay, guys, I hope that helps. I'm sure you're going to be bombarded with lots of well-meaning, motivational stuff about New Year's resolutions and all the rest of it. But pick one thing that you really want to change, and then move heaven and earth to make that happen for yourselves. Okay, if you need any help or you want to make any comments, feel free to drop them in the boxes below and I'll get back to you soon. All right, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.